For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb.
Is not one of them. This is a fascinating story where history, faith, and archaeology all intersect.
For centuries, it remained sealed, hidden beneath stone, guarded by legend, and whispered about in every corner of Christendom. The tomb said to hold the body of Jesus of Nazareth. Until one quiet night in Jerusalem, a team of researchers dared to open it again. What they found beneath the marble wasn't just archaeology. It was a message left in silence, echoing through time. Jerusalem slept beneath a heavy stillness that night. Inside the ancient church of the Holy Sepulchre, floodlights flickered against walls that had witnessed 2 millennia of worship. A small team of archaeologists, scientists, and priests stood before the sealed tomb, their hands trembling, their breaths shallow. For nearly 2,000 years, no one had dared lift the marble covering the place believed to be where Jesus of Nazareth was laid. With precision tools and whispered prayers they began. Dust rose like incense. Every movement echoed through the hollow chamber as the marble slab slowly gave way. Cameras zoomed in, capturing a moment that blurred the line between science and faith. Then the stone shifted, revealing what no living soul had seen since the age of emperors. The air itself seemed to change. What lay beneath was older than legend and far stranger than anyone imagined. When the marble covering was finally lifted, centuries of dust swirled into the air like a veil between history and eternity. For the first time since the Crusades, light touched the burial slab long believed to have held the body of Jesus Christ. Engineers from the National Technical University of Athens, joined by clergy from 6 rival Christian traditions, watched in absolute silence. Beneath the marble lay something no one expected, a second layer of stone, etched faintly with a cross. It was as if the earliest believers had left their mark, sealing their faith into the rock itself.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss inspiring discoveries of faith, archaeology, and prophecy. Like and share this video to a friend or family. Your support helps us to spread this word of grace.
Ground sensors confirmed the bedrock below dated back to the 1st century, matching the time of Jesus of Nazareth. The evidence was overwhelming and humbling. But then came a moment that stopped even the scientists. Hidden under the slab, they detected a strange trace, something that shouldn't have survived 2 millennia. Long before scientists or laser scanners, a queen claimed to have found the very ground where heaven touched earth. Her name was Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine the Great. In the year 326 AD, guided by ancient accounts and unwavering faith, she arrived in Jerusalem determined to uncover the tomb of Christ. What she found changed history. Beneath a Roman temple dedicated to Venus, her workers struck limestone and discovered a tomb carved from rock, just as the Gospels described. Helena wept as she knelt beside it, believing she had found the site of the resurrection. On that ground, she ordered the construction of a great church, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. For nearly 17 centuries, it has stood as both sanctuary and secret. But few remember that Helena's discovery wasn't just political, it was prophetic. And centuries later, her vision would be proven right. The marble slab, smooth, cold, and ancient, had guarded its secret longer than any empire had survived. The restoration team moved cautiously, brushing away debris, their gloves trembling as centuries of history yielded to light. Beneath the surface lay layers of plaster, soot, and mineral traces that spoke of endless candles and countless prayers. When scanners passed over the slab, they detected residual moisture, remnants of an ancient sealing mixture that dated back to the 4th century, the same era when Queen Helena first ordered the tomb's protection. It was as though time itself had been entombed. One of the engineers whispered, "It's untouched, perfectly preserved." But the deeper they probed, the stranger it became. Hidden pockets of air were detected, voids that shouldn't exist inside solid limestone. Something was sealed inside the rock, something waiting to be revealed. For days, scanners and spectrometers hummed inside the sacred chamber. Every inch of stone was mapped, every particle logged. The data stunned the researchers. The bedrock matched first-century limestone, the same type used for Jewish burials in the time of Jesus. Then came a moment that silenced even the skeptics. When the team lifted the top layer of marble, they discovered another, older slab beneath it, faintly etched with a cross. The markings dated to the earliest centuries of Christianity, likely carved by pilgrims who believed they stood before the risen Christ. Microscopic samples revealed traces of myrrh and aloe, identical to the burial spices described in the Gospel of John. These weren't legends, they were physical echoes of a real event. But as the scientists celebrated their findings, one of the cameras picked up something else. A strange glow forming across the slab that none of their instruments could explain. When the scanning was complete, the team gathered to view what the instruments had revealed. There were no bones, no fragments, no trace of any human remains. Just an empty limestone chamber, still and silent. For some, it was expected. For others, it was impossible. How could a burial site from the 1st century be so perfectly preserved, yet completely devoid of a body? The lead archaeologist whispered, "It's as if someone left, not decayed." The emptiness carried weight, not absence, but presence, a silence that spoke louder than any artifact. The priests watching wept quietly. To them, this was no mystery at all. The tomb was empty because death had lost. And yet, amid the spiritual awe, a question lingered. If the tomb was truly empty, could it mean the resurrection wasn't just a story, but a recorded event waiting to be proven? Outside the chamber, tension rippled through the church's corridors. The tomb of Jesus was not owned by one faith group, it was shared by 6: Greek Orthodox, Armenian, Franciscan, Coptic, Syrian, and Ethiopian. For centuries, disputes over candles, keys, and even prayer times had sparked violence inside this very sanctuary. But on the night the tomb was opened, something rare happened. Silence. Rival priests stood shoulder to shoulder, watching the same miracle unfold. The air was heavy with awe and old wounds. One Franciscan monk whispered, "Even the stone unites us." Yet beneath that unity was unease. The discovery was bigger than doctrine. It threatened to rewrite what each group claimed to protect. For the first time in centuries, faith and politics shared the same space. But as light filled the tomb once more, something even stranger began to happen above it. Every year during the Orthodox Easter, thousands gather inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, waiting for a light that no one can explain. At the stroke of noon, the patriarch enters
the tomb carrying nothing but a candle. Moments later, a blue flame bursts from the stone, lighting torches, candles, and hearts across the world. Scientists have tried to test it. Cameras have filmed it. Skeptics have called it coincidence. Yet the flame always returns, never burning hands or wax at first touch. Many say it is a sign that the tomb still lives, that the miracle continues. As the 2016 restoration unfolded, some claim to see faint flickers of light on the slab, the same eerie glow recorded by cameras during the scan. Coincidence? Or another reminder that death could not dim the light that rose from this place? In Scripture, the number 3 is never random. It marks resurrection, renewal, and divine completion. The prophet Hosea once wrote, After 2 days, he will revive us. On the third day, he will raise us up. For centuries, believers have wondered if this wasn't only about Jesus, but also about time itself. That after 2,000 years of silence, the world would again witness signs of his victory. And now, in this third millennium, the tomb was opened. 2 millennia of prophecy met 1 moment of light. Archaeologists saw limestone. Believers saw revelation. The stone that sealed death was lifted, not by power, but by timing, written before history began. But this discovery didn't just confirm what was, it whispered of what's coming. Because if the tomb of Christ can rise again in our time, what else might awaken next? Long after the lights dimmed and the scientists packed their instruments, the tomb remained, quiet, ancient, alive. Every stone in that chamber seemed to whisper the same truth. He is not here. The empty slab wasn't evidence of loss, it was proof of victory. A message carved not in letters, but in absence. For believers, that silence meant everything. It said that death was broken, that the grave could never hold the Son of God. Thousands still kneel there each year, touching the cold stone, feeling warmth rise from within. Some call it faith. Others call it history. But those who stand inside say it's something deeper, like standing in the echo of eternity. And as the light from the tomb spills across Jerusalem once again, one question lingers. If the tomb is still empty after 2,000 years, what will it reveal next?